Hi, it's Julie at Love's Beginning, and today I wanted to talk about egoic thoughts and the idea I received. They really aren't yours, and they're really transparent. So it's like I knew this. I know ego's thoughts aren't mine, but I am accustomed to treating them as if they are. So there's just that opportunity more and more to see through that and to realize when I seem to receive a thought like that, to know that it is not of me, it is not of what I really am. And the light that everybody is, the light that's the only thing that's real, can shine right through it. I just have to invite it. I have to recognize that it's not my thought, and to invite the light to shine through it, and it does. So a helpful metaphor that my non-physical friends give me is that I subscribed to Ego's streaming service. And I invented Ego too, wanting to have the experience of separation perception. I'm having it now. Here are glasses. Here's an eye. Here's a head. Here's a wall. It's okay. So I give this to myself with thought, and I subscribe to Ego streaming service, which means I want Ego to send me thoughts to keep me in that separation perception. I am not able to sustain the separation perception without fear, hatred, and I like to refer to hatred as the pushing against energy we feel, tension. Tension is hatred. It's like all the cell walls of all the different beings kind of pushing and pulling at each other. That's hatred. And it's necessary to have separation perception. It's like a function. So it's nothing to be ashamed of or to feel guilty about, because it's just confusion when we forgot what we're doing here. So getting this streaming service metaphor explained to me. Ego streams thoughts to me because I want them. Why do I want them? To sustain separation perception. Why do I want to sustain separation perception? It's because I think my identity's there, my safety's there, all that is there. I don't know what there is beyond that, except now we do know that there is something beyond that, and it's very real, and it's not physical, and it's not threatening in any way, and it's only benign. And we're really coming into a time here collectively where that is becoming so apparent and so available to us. And I think just because so many of us are devoting ourselves to waking up, and um, we're collectively making these ideas, this truth, more available to all of our minds, that there is something there foundational that was there before we invented ego, and it's real and it's benign, and it can be called into any situation, and it can be seen within any being. So the other symbol that was given to me was that ego's thoughts come to me in a queue. They kind of line up. And if you think of your recommended, like your recommended videos on YouTube, they line up like that. And they're just a rehashing of the past, and they promote fear, and they promote the idea of shoulds and shouldn'ts, and they promote the idea of separate selves needing to control and manage things, anything that would kind of block or cover up inspiration, anything that would kind of block or cover up the idea that we're always cared for, we always get what we need, the resources we need will always come to us. Anything that can block that out is an egoic thought, and it gets used for that purpose, because I am afraid of what is prior to ego. I've become so accustomed to ego. There's so much guilt in thinking that I have done something very wrong in making separation perception, in making a world of illusion. So I block out that which helps me and everybody. And I'm the only one who can stop blocking it. So if ego's thoughts are suggested to me in this queue, this recommended, and I can hear and experience the egoic thoughts, I don't have to click on them. I click on them if I want to be in that movie where I believe that thought or, enact that possibility, but I don't have to click on them. So I don't have to, I can see they're in the queue and I can leave them there. So I think this is more available to us than it ever was before. I have that feeling so strongly these days. Like so many of us are committed to waking up that, before maybe I would have an insight, but I wouldn't live the insight. And, but then I'd maybe remembered a week later and think I've gone a little deeper. Now it feels like really living this all the time and getting so many examples of how this is true, how egoic thought is optional. So I was watching the news the other night, and it was Fox News. And I don't consider myself to be left or right anymore. But what I was noticing was that people you could call on the left can seem very afraid of things, and people who you would look at and maybe say they're on the right can seem very afraid of things, very critical, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I'm used to picking a side and thinking one side is more intelligent, more sane, kinder. But really, what I was invited to do instead of doing that was to watch the news and to see the true being of everybody that appeared on the news, which is not a new experience for me, but the delight, the delight in doing it was less experimental. It was more available. I could really look at the news and see everybody there in every capacity, somebody on film who was being criticized, or somebody who was presenting the news, or somebody who had a show who seemed to be very opinionated. I could look and just see the beingness, the aliveness, who they really are, which is who I really am, which is who everybody else really is, beyond all concept, beyond all divides, and to know this is so available to us. This is so available to us, and we can call it forth very easily because we're worthy of this happiness and this delight and this peace. We're worthy of the resolution of all the problems that seem apparent right now. It's very, very heartening. And yesterday was actually a really awful day in terms of energies coming up for me. It felt like great release of big hunks of misperception. There was a lot of crying, and I hadn't I hadn't had to go through that in a while. So it was like, boy, this is something. And, usually when I go back through this, I might think, oh, maybe I've gone backwards. Maybe I don't know anything. I'm just left in this space of really not knowing, which is a good space because it's open and all this stuff gets the opportunity to come up. And then in the wake of that, there's always this clarity and this availability of the outlook is clearer and sharp, and I can just see through the egoic thought so much more easily than I could before. So what a relief. It's always a relief. And I know so many of us are going through this, and I think probably a lot of us are going through this, might not know what it is. Maybe if you're new to spiritual awakening, or you don't have that background, I don't know. But if stuff is coming up for you, it's good because the layers and the layers and the layers of misperception come up and get cleared out. And I always feel better after one of these cleansings. So the another concept that was given to me was the concept of weeding the garden. In order to receive this joy, this delight, this ability to see through egoic thought, to stop clicking on it, to stop depending on it, to see what it was there for, and to see that I don't need it. Um, I have to stop blocking love or I have to stop blocking inspiration or clarity or abundance or truth or whatever name you want to give it. I'm the one who has to stop blocking it. So I definitely have a job to do. And it's kind of like weeding the garden. And today I felt like I was taken out there into the garden at sunrise to do some weeding. And that's, when this kind of came through to me. And I think anything we do in life is can be used as a metaphor, and we can be spoken to very powerfully and in a way that really penetrates for us personally based on what's meaningful to us. So I appreciate that. I appreciate how personal and effective the metaphors can be. And if something's given to you, I would like to know too, because I like to look at this from many angles and to wash away my misperceptions however I can. Another thing that was shown to me was like a picture of me saying, "Help me," when I'm in distress and not understanding. Um, at the same time that I've locked the door and I'm piling furniture against it. And I'm saying, "Please come in and help me." But I've locked everything up. I'm doing everything in my power to block the assistance from coming to me. So this is a picture of this is why it's been hard. If you ever have a hard time, this is why it's hard, because you didn't know how to allow immediate and very powerful assistance in, and now you do. And so there's every reason to relax, every reason to celebrate everybody, every reason to celebrate every situation. If it looks dire or confusing or irritating, it's just there for cleansing and healing. And there's so much beauty, and we can see everywhere and in everyone, and there's so much to celebrate. So I'm hoping you find some things to celebrate too, and let me know what they are. Thanks.